Hi, Kelly. Kelly
Hi.
McInerney.
That's
Did I say
me.
that right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Kelly is a comedian in Los Angeles and a good friend of mine, and you have the same name as my mom.
Oh, yeah. Does she
Yeah.
spell it like me?
No, she spells it EY.
The wrong way.
That's the cool way. Like,
Nah.
yeah, I always felt like people who spelled their name Kelly were like less than, because it's like not even, like
Yeah,
Kelly.
five letters, perfect.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. You don't need an E. You don't want to confuse people.
Are you named after anyone?
No, my brother claimed that he named me after a girl that he had a crush on.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
And my dad's all Irish, and he was like, yeah, let's do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So your brother named you after somebody he was horny for. That's
Yeah.
a good way to start off a brother-sister relationship.
Yeah, pretty fun.
Well, thanks for being on the show. As you know, roommate stories is what this is about.
Yeah.
And you told me you have a couple kind of interesting stories.
Yeah,
So let's
yeah.
get into it.
Sure. Well, I live alone now, thank
Okay.
God. I do have a roommate. I bought a skeleton in the pandemic named Tony.
Oh, okay.
But let me tell
A
you.
real skeleton?
No. It's
Okay.
a $50 party skeleton.
Oh, okay. Did you buy it during Halloween season or in the
No.
off season?
Peak, probably like April 2020. I was like, let's make some content.
I love it.
And fun fact about that is if you break a skeleton, you could just order another one on Amazon, put the old one in it, and then get the new one.
Yeah.
But
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way way better than my old roommates. I before this I lived like literally a block away.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool because it was much cheaper, but our landlord was like a heroin addict.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
That's why it was cheap. His name was Jay. I don't know. I think he sold the place though.
Is he still with us?
That's a great question.
Oh.
Because he sold it because he eventually got some sort of illness that I don't know if it was cancer or something, but he sold it to a younger landlord. And one of my roommates didn't like that. She's like another like white girl like me and would talk down to him.
Was Jay white?
I think so. He was always kind of dirty, so it's hard to tell.
Oh, Jesus.
Always fixing his motorcycle.
Oh, okay. So were his hands like black? I know
Yeah.
people-
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah,
just
black with dirt, I should specify. I'm not being.
Yeah. But listen, $845 for a very spacious bedroom. Like we had like a house, and I had like the biggest bedroom.
Oh my God.
$845.
How long ago was this?
Up until 2017. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
That's amazing.
Yeah, I filled in for another. There was like another old comic. Miranda King was in it, so I took her spot. But then yeah, my roommate, she was kind of crazy. The one that yelled at the new young guy, who basically like our new landlord went to school with like Logan, and I was like, hey, is this guy cool? And she's like, yeah, I mean he's just like a rich kid kind of. I'm like, okay, cool. So he's a douchebag. But he promised to keep us like in the house until Courtney started, talking shit to him, like being like, are you gonna fix our hot water or what?
No.
Have you ever
In that tone too? Like,
Yeah.
Oh God.
been like, are you how do you even know how to be a landlord? You're younger than us. I'm like, what? You can't tell that you can't say that.
Yeah. And she's probably also the same kind of girl that goes on dates with guys and is like, just so you know, I'm not like other girls. Like that's the kind of, and then I say that and I actually mean it, and she's ruined everything for me. Yeah. I know exactly the kind of girl you're talking about.
She had a boyfriend for a while that was just like a real Debbie Downer. So I think she just tried to push him and made him better, and then I think eventually just broke him even more. I don't really know what happened because we didn't have a good falling out. We had a falling out.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
don't
it
think
is.
falling outs are usually good.
Yeah. She also had a cat that was dying when I moved in,
Oh.
named Mona, and she would just like crawl into my laundry, or like she would find a way because Jay never hired handymen. We would always be like, hey, this is broken. So something happened with my door and it wouldn't open or something, so he got me a new door, but there was like a slant in the floor, so he cut it but he cut it wrong and there was a big space. Thus, the dead cat would sneak in.
Oh my God.
And just lie on my towels and just, I had to put duct tape because I got an IKEA thing that wouldn't close. So I had to duct tape the cupboard shut so she would stop sitting on my dead towels.
Was it like a gross dead cat? Dying cat?
She's just really skinny and just like, she had a weird smell towards the end. And just would like meow, like just be mopey and sad. And I'm like, man, just like
die already?
Yeah, kind of like,
yeah.
Just annoying. Or like, hey, love your dying cat more. Don't let me like find her on some towels. In her end of
she
days.
Probably didn't even know. Cats like wander off and then you don't know where they went and then they come back. Like I had a cat growing up who would disappear for like 2 weeks at a time and then come back.
Yeah.
And it was never a big deal.
That was it outdoor, indoor, outdoor? Yeah. This was just solely indoor, which is, I wish she was outdoor because then maybe she would have died.
Yeah. See, this is why I don't like cat. Are you a cat? You don't have cats now?
No.
I don't like cat people because cat people are people who don't really want a pet, but they want a pet enough to get a cat because they don't really have to pay attention to the cat.
Right.
And then they get those fancy litter boxes so they really don't have to pay attention to the cat. And that I don't like cat
I
people
agree.
for that
I'm
reason.
with you.
Yeah.
Because I would love to have a dog, but I feel like I respect you for having one on your own because I could not do
really? Oh, my dog's so easy though.
Yeah.
He's right there.
There he is.
The Bubs.
But I feel the same because I told my mom like I want a dog, but I'm waiting until I like find love and then we could co-parent.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, cats.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's why everybody's gotten a dog. That's why everybody in LA has a dog because they can't find love. So they're like, I just get a dog.
It's just I don't want to think about having. I hate planning like, oh, okay, I have to wake up at 8. Oh no, actually, I have to wake up at 7 to walk the dog and then go do my thing at 8. Like everything takes longer with them. I went on a hike the other day. It took like 4 hours, man. Because they stop and sniff and everything.
Yeah, but you got to train them to be like, no, you got to keep up with me, dude. Like, you can't be the kind of dog owner where the dog owns you. You have to own the dog. Like
I get that, but you got to have them have fun and sniff around, I guess, and leave them
on your terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. I was dog sitting, so it wasn't like mine, so I couldn't really control them.
Yeah.
But boy, takes forever.
There is a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
That's put in for sure. Okay, so you had the roommate with the cat dying cat.
The cat died. Then she decided to foster kittens without asking us.
Ooh, that's a
which
bad
is
move.
super fun because she didn't have any, cages or anything. So they would just like she was on the second bottom floor all to herself, and I had to share the top floor with this other guy. But it was like fine, but she wouldn't lock them down there, so they would crawl and then like hit my door because they were kind of crazy kittens.
Yeah, because they're little.
It's like I'm trying to sleep late on my day off, and these wild cats. Ugh. So that was annoying. It's just like,
did you ever confront her about it?
Yeah, and she just didn't do anything. Care. Oh, sorry. I'll take care of them. You don't have to feed them or do. I'm like, but it's.
Sounds self-centered. Yeah. Well, not surprising living in LA to have a self-centered roommate.
Yeah. She would use the seniority too, because she lived there first before all of us. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm paying the most, even though it made no sense because she had the bottom floor and an empty room down there because another guy moved out, and she had that whole floor to herself and bathroom. And then I had to have the upstairs. I had my own bathroom, so did the other guy, but he lived like right next to me, and just I don't know. It's just, sometimes you want to run to the bathroom without pants on, and I couldn't do that upstairs.
Yeah. It's especially if you're living with a guy. I mean, it depends on the guy, I guess.
Also, her friend, she's like, "Hey, you want to move in? We need another roommate because we had a roommate." And she didn't stay with us that long because she couldn't handle Courtney's crazy. And Courtney found this sketch guy or something. And he was cool, but he just would, just be a guy. Watch sports when you wanted to not want to watch sports. not any huge complaints.
Did you guys have like a communal living room, or did you have a TV in your room?
I had both, and both were mine. Not to brag that I was the TV whore, but that I brought stuff.
But that's tough. Like if you have a TV in the living room and it's your TV, but then like other people are always watching it, it's like it feels like a violation in some way, where you're like, but I want to watch it now.
Yeah.
Like I had a roommate a while ago, and her boyfriend lived with us for a while because they were getting ready to move in together.
Woof.
And it was an interesting time.
Yeah.
But I would come home and he would be watching like golf, and he'd been watching golf all day, and he was going to continue to watch golf the whole night. Like he loved golf, and like good dude or whatever. But
how
I
much
was just
golf?
like, I can't. This is my TV. Like I don't have a TV in my room, and I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, so I always have one roommate. But I was like, you're not paying rent. Like you're freeloading right now, and so if I come home and I want, like, you should be like, hey, did you want to watch something?
Right.
But people, I realize, don't have etiquette, like, at all.
No, they just assume you're gonna ask them, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they assume.
So would you come in and be like, hey, I'm gonna watch the Kardashians? Like,
no, because I was just like,
you didn't care enough.
Well, I mean, he would only do it on certain days, like weekends, which is annoying. But like, he didn't do it that often, where I could be like, listen, you're using the TV when I want to. So I didn't want to do that. I don't know.
It's also hard because I feel like when you live with people like that, and you start going down the route of like, hey, you did this and I didn't like that, and then you did this, and then they start doing it to you, and then you get in like, it doesn't happen. I feel like when you live with your family, or if you live with like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, but it happens with roommates.
Yeah. Where
all of a sudden it becomes this like cycle of, well, you didn't take the trash out. Well, you ate my food. Well, you did this, you turned the AC on too high or whatever. Like it never, once that starts, it never ends.
It never stops. Yeah. I'm with you. Because one roommate I had, we were kind of like sisters for a while, and it was like, yeah, whatever. We'll buy food for each other, cook or whatever. That's cool.
I've had roommates like that.
I think it's just like sharing it, Yeah. Like, or starting like asking first, and then if I use your food, then I'll get it for you,
Yes, 100%. The thing I hate is like when people take your food without asking, and then they either don't tell you or tell you after the fact, and then in your mind you're like, okay, I have 3 slices of bread left at home, so I'm gonna go home and make a sandwich, and then you get home and all of a sudden there's no bread.
Drives me
like,
nuts.
Even when I was a kid growing up, I knew how much food was in the house and like when it would be eaten, and there was never really any missing. Like everybody kind of just ate their own like food, or like had the stuff. I don't know. I don't know if that's common, but I never was worried about being out of something.
That reminds me, once like when I was in college, I just moved to a new dorm like right before winter break, but I bought this like new Ben & Jerry's ice cream, strawberry cheesecake, and I was like, I'm gonna eat you when I get back. And then my new roommates ate it, and I was like, and then they also slept in my bed. Like they're like, oh, my cousin stayed over and slept in your bed. It's like, what? Like with my sheets? I don't even know you guys, man.
And they didn't ask you?
Nope.
What did you say?
I was young and dumb at the time, so I was like, oh, it's okay. Like.
Yeah. I feel like all women are taught to just be like, it's okay. Like, don't.
But then whenever
I would lose my mind.
Oh my God. Now, if that happened now, I would be livid.
I would have lost my mind then too. Like, I would have for sure.
I just, from then on, whenever I like was out of town, I would just take my sheets off and be like, that's it.
It's an interesting strategy.
Yeah.
Did it work?
I think so. I never found out.
At least they probably noticed it enough to be like, okay, if they are going to sleep, well, we just won't tell her.
Yeah.
They did.
I'm sure they still slept on the empty bed and gave her a blanket or, college shit.
I've had roommates before that have left town, and I'll have somebody, like a family member or somebody coming to visit, and they'll be like, oh, if they want to sleep in my bed, which I always thought was a nice offer.
Yeah.
But I was always like, isn't that kind of gross? Like, I mean, I realize at hotels, it's like you have new people in the bed every night, but I don't know, something about it. It was always a nice offer, but like, I didn't ever really take them up on it.
Yeah, I don't know. None of my roommates offered that. I would always just sleep on the couch and have like my parents sleep on the bed.
Yeah,
but
same.
Yeah. This one, I don't know. I wouldn't
There's something
offer
about it that feels weird.
Yeah, it's just like, that's your family. That's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you deal with it. Yeah. So, okay, so you had the girl, her name was Courtney? Mm-hmm. I lived with a Courtney, too.
Was she a cunt?
She had her moments. I mean, she's an overall nice person, but it was in college, and so we all had, it was just a crazy time. Like, she was a character. Like, she was very tan and had very blonde hair, and like that was her look, and like Juicy Couture sweatsuits. So she was like that kind of a Courtney. Yeah. But she was fun. I mean, we all had fun together. I don't want to rag on her. But there are stories I could tell. Yeah. But I won't. Maybe I'll save it for another time.
Yeah, that whole house was kind of wacky because then we had this another roommate, the brief one. She's only there briefly. She like burned one of my pots. Just like doing like, I think I'm a stoner, but then you meet somebody that's a real stoner and you're holy, how do you survive?
Yeah.
Because she was like, I texted her, I'm like, hey, just so you know, you left a pot boiling on the stove. And she's like, yeah, I'm just cleaning it. And I was like, okay.
What?
I don't know. I just let it fly. She forgot about it and burned.
But you knew it was on and you left it on.
Well, I was leaving her, so I was like, and she was in her bedroom or something. Oh. So I was like, hey, just so you know.
Jesus, she could have burned your whole house down.
Yeah. She would leave the faucet in the kitchen running and then leave. And we'd be like, and she's like 20, so, this is post-college. This is like when we're in our mid-20s.
That's crazy. I've never been on a substance so extreme that I would leave a faucet on.
Me neither. Like even blackout Kelly knows to take her contacts out, let alone stop a sink.
That's crazy. And then would you guys call her on it? Like, hey, do you know you did? Like, did she have any recollection of like?
I think Courtney mostly did, and that's why she got kind of booed in. So she's like, you gotta, and then she would use stuff like mugs that Courtney didn't want used, which was weird. It's like, hey, this is everybody's mugs.
Yeah.
But she would then be super nitpicky after she did the faucet thing and burned the pot. Also bought me a pot shittier than, which I
bad move.
Yeah, like she got me the shittiest IKEA pot that had, when the handle was just all metal. I'm like, man, I had a nice. Like, I didn't burn myself.
Yeah. I would have, I don't know. I mean, I have had enough roommates in the place I'm living now that when people move in, I'm like, I'll share everything with you because I have it all. So there's not a ton of room for stuff. So like, if you don't have pots, don't feel the need to go buy them. But if you break it, you have to replace it.
Yeah. That's just common stuff. Yeah.
But my hope too is that if you're a clumsy person, and I don't know that about you yet, then there are certain things that you will not use because you're like, oh, I don't want to have to replace that. Like, I don't know.
My one friend, she's not really my friend anymore because she went kind of crazy, but she, in similar instance as you, she like lived there forever, and she keeps trying to look for a new roommate, but she refuses to let them use stuff. But she has there's no, she's kind of a hoarder, and it's like, man,
what does she not let them use?
Like certain kitchenware and stuff, and then she gets mad when they're in the living room, and it's like, well, what do you expect? She expects them to split the rent and just stay in their room. And it's like, that's different. You gotta give them less money.
It is. And it's funny because I've had roommates that have stayed in their room, and then I've had roommates that have not been in their room as much, which I actually like as long as I get along with them, which I have. And so when I have a roommate that is like, that stays mostly in their room, I'm like, oh, are you happy? Like, is everything okay? Like, you just, I don't know. I've made like a home. Right. And I want you to feel like comfortable in the home. And I mean, I assume they do. I think it's just personality differences, but I'm just like, I don't know. Don't you want to like have a like convivial space? I don't know. But I think that's just because I'm older, and like sometimes people when they're younger, they don't know stuff.
Are they younger than you? The roommates? Yeah.
I mean, every roommate I've had has been younger than me. Yeah. And I'm not that old. It's just that people in their like 20s and very, very early 30s are still moving around a lot more, I think. So, but wait, so get back to your landlord.
So Jay, his name was, I don't know. He just, so he sold the place, but he sold it, and still some of the people are living. So it wasn't just the one house. It was the one house we lived in, an apartment that he lived in, and then a bottom one that my friend Terrence still lives in, and then a back house that everybody else still lives. We were the one house that just got booted.
Oh, wow.
Because the, she was a bitch to the new landlord.
Yeah.
He would just have people, like, weird women come over late at night, or like just
and you knew this, like you could see
we would
them,
see them because there's like a little alleyway that we all kind of share. And then what else?
Do you think they were hookers, or do you think they were like women
just,
you met
drug people, other like heroin addicted people,
like dealers and users and cartel people?
It was, I mean, we didn't pay him cash. So it was like a level up, gave him Bank of America.
Okay.
Zelle.
Not bad.
But I know when I was trying to move in, I was like, he took forever saying yes, even though like there was you're out of money for so long.
Yeah.
And then once I moved in, he's like, well, we got to fill the other room too. That's why we got the.
Right.
It's like, well, why couldn't I just catch a break and have some space before another roommate moved in?
But how did you figure out he was a heroin addict?
Oh, my friend Terrence told me, because he's lived there for years. And he still lives there now. And you could kind of see on his
track mark and stuff.
He just was, you could tell.
Did he ever talk about it, or like did he try to like suss out if you guys were into that, or like
he never
invite you over?
No. He was very to himself. He even let like Terrence do like comedy shows in the backyard and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Which was cool. He was like, honestly, the heroin was probably a bad thing, but I mean,
bad habit, okay person.
Still preferred him more than the young douche that that came, because he didn't even last long. The guy, apparently the new landlord sold it because the parents of the young guy was like, what's taking so long to refurbish this house or something? And it's a new landlord now, another one, third one. But yeah, he just loved motorcycles and weird women. And
sounds like an LA man.
Yeah.
sounds about normal. That's crazy. I mean, I feel like heroin addicts are not, I don't know. They're not as annoying as some other drug addicts.
Because they mostly just fall asleep in like their mashed potatoes and stuff. You know,
they're not sitting there talking to you about how they're going to start a business tomorrow or whatever, like cokeheads. And
I think it's more of like a addiction than any other, like versus like, cokeheads is like social, like, hey, what's up?
I think when it's bad is like when they're like before they get their fix. And then it gets, I mean, I don't know any Harris. There's probably people who are going to watch this that are like, hang on a second, you don't know what you're talking about. Because I don't. But I do know that this is off subject, but I went to drop off some food to like a tent city that was under an overpass over like on Venice and Sawtell, you know, that underpass is. Yeah. And I was with a friend, and we went over there. And I stayed in the car, and he got out, and he was like, hey, are you guys hungry? Do you want some food? And I thought that they would come over and be upset that we were like interrupting their evening. And because you never really know. And I've heard that there's like cartel members that set up shop in those like tents, and there's like guns. And,
really?
Oh, yeah. I've heard it's like very intense. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's not just,
I think it depends on where you are,
okay.
But I think there's levels to like who's like living over there, and like places where there's probably more prostitution or more drugs or gang stuff or whatever. And so all of a sudden it was all like men standing outside, and then all of these women came out from the tents, and they all looked like heroin or fentanyl addicts, because they weren't high strung at all. Like they're very subdued, and all the women came out and they wanted the food, and it was like good food. It was like tomatoes and mozzarella and stuff from an event, and they all wanted it, and they all said thank you, and they were all really like, you know, probably all good people, like high functioning people at some point that fell into whatever. But the men, I guess one guy yelled, shoot him, to us, which is, I didn't hear that. And then my friend told me when he got back in the car, and I was like, let's just go. Like, we don't need to overstay. Because he was like, look at him, watch him go. And I'm like, they're not rats. They're just people. They're going to eat food. We can just go, like we can just. So I could see, like, I feel like heroin addicts on a certain level could be very high functioning. Yeah. Until it gets to a point where it's like.
He was. And then I think he got some sort of cancer or something, so he had to move in with his parents or something. I think we met his dad at the end, or Terrence did, and they were taking him away, which is like, man, he's been here for like 20 years. Yeah. You couldn't have done it before. I know he did. We had a laundry in the basement that he only would use. He wouldn't let us use it.
So you had to go to a laundromat? Mm-hmm. Oh, weird. Yeah. Why do you think that was?
Who knows? I think he just didn't want to use, like...
He didn't want to share.
Yeah, he would use our electricity, too. He would plug in a cord to our house, and we would see it connect to his.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's a lot of effort.
Right?
To just not use your own electricity.
So he would find ways to try and scam us.
So was your electric bill a lot higher every month because of that, or did it not really?
I didn't notice, but I mean, he could have been doing that the whole time I was there. And it's never, like three of us, so it's hard.
That's crazy.
But I know he would do that. And
he wasn't good at fixing stuff.
No. Gave me a sideways door. It was like so janky. And also took forever to do it. Like, just like, hey, it literally takes 2 seconds. Just give me the saw, please.
I feel like you're kind of a handy person, though. Like, I feel like you know how to fix things.
I worked at Home Depot as a kid.
See? Called it. I called it.
But no, not really. No.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you have to, if I worked at Home Depot, I wouldn't know anything, which I feel like most of the people working there don't.
Yeah, you learn it based on your department. Like, I learned how to cut blinds and carpet.
Wow. But, how long did you work there?
Like less than a year. It was like right in between like high school and college. Yeah.
How much did you get paid per hour?
It was better than you think. I think I got like 16 or something.
Oh my God. That's really good. And then when I worked Nike retail, it was $10 an hour.
Yeah. And you get like bonuses and stuff too. And the insurance was really good. I remember.
Were you full time?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like the summer.
Good to know. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I'm always Home Depot versus Lowe's, because they treated us right. Yeah. Except like there was like a thing with like customers that we couldn't fight back. So like one time one of our managers got like spat in the face and she couldn't.
She just had to take it?
Yeah, that's what they wanted us to do.
Did she? But okay.
It's weird. So that's why I was like, I don't know how.
But also, how are you getting so mad at Home Depot that you're going to spit in someone's face?
Wild. I saw some wild people there, man.
This toilet seat's too expensive. What else did you see there?
Just like guys dressed up in like garbage bags, drinking red Solo cups. And one guy was like, I've never been with a white woman before to me.
What? Yeah. Were they black?
Yeah, not white.
They were not
black
white.
Or Puerto Rican or something. Yeah.
But they had garbage bags on?
He was dressed in a full garbage bag, but he's wearing shoes and had a Solo cup on. So I'm not sure what his deal was. If he was unhoused, homeless person. I don't know what to say anymore.
I just say homeless. It's so many words. The houseless have more words now than the gays. Anyway.
But yes, a lot of stuff like that. And then like one very like chubby, like button down nerdy guy, also black. I don't know why I need to tell you that, but that was my type at Home Depot. That would always, I was cutting his blinds and he's like, let me just ask you a question. Have you ever had somebody just like pamper you? Just like pamper you. Just be your like little, be your like sugar daddy.
Oh my God.
And I was like, no.
Was he rich?
Because
it's always men who ask that actually don't have any money.
Probably not. You're getting your blinds cut at Home Depot, you know?
I mean, blinds are expensive though.
Yeah, but order custom or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he was.
I feel like when men ask that, they're actually very poor and they think pampering means like rubbing your feet or something. Like, have you ever been pampered? And it's like, I can rub my own feet.
Yeah,
Things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
That's funny. I've always heard it's very easy to steal from Home Depot. That's what people used to tell me.
I mean, in my opinion, it's easy to steal from anywhere. I literally just went to Vaughn's right before this. I was like, I got time to kill, and I went to the Hollywood Vaughn's and I stole some sushi. Walked out.
You just walked out with it?
Yeah, I went up to the self checkout, looked around, nobody was there, and I just scooted out. It's $16 for Ralph's or Vaughn's sushi.
I know,
now.
but that's so bold. Do you think you have a problem? Are you a klepto?
I don't think I'm a klepto because, like, I'm never itching to do it.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to save money.
Got it. So when the time is right.
Yeah, and
like,
just stick it to the man.
have you ever stolen anything from a roommate?
Not really.
Because I feel like that's, like, if you're klepto, like, you just see things and take it. Like, I see Windex over there, and if I was like, man, I could use some Windex. Like, if I was a klepto, I feel like I would just take that. I
think I did. Like, moving out, when you're mad at your roommate, you find ways to take things. Like, she grabbed some, like, Danny Elfman record somewhere, and I had a record player. She didn't. So I was like, I'm just going to move out with this Danny Elfman record.
Oh, my God. Did she never notice?
She never texted me or asked about it. And then once I think
do you still have it?
Yeah, hell yeah, I do. I should have stole more stuff looking back because she had a lot of shit. And then my other old roommate, I accidentally took her yoga mat, but that's just because we had 2 purple yoga mats. That was not my fault.
Oh, well, yeah, you had a surplus. So when you worked at Home Depot, did you ever steal anything from there? Because it seems like if you work somewhere like that has consumer goods, knowing what you just did at Vaughn's, it could be very hard not to, like, you would know how to get away with it.
I think, well, at that time, I wasn't super into stealing that much. I lived at home, you know, sometimes I would just get money from my parents still to buy stuff, you know, so it wasn't like this is all my money that I have to use.
So if you were like wealthy, would you still steal?
Like Winona Ryder?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, would you just pull up on Prada and be like, you know what?
Like for certain things like tampons and makeup, I probably still would because it's like, I feel like, why do we have to pay for this anyways? It gets me mad, but maybe not.
Do you get mad because of capitalism or like what is it like? Or you think tampons should be free or they're taxed too much?
Free.
Like, is it that it's like a stick it to the man kind of thing?
Yeah. Like just because we get our periods doesn't mean we got to pay for it.
Yeah. I had somebody on this podcast that didn't agree with that.
No?
Yeah.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like you don't even really think about some of that stuff until people bring it to your attention, and then you're like, that's not a bad reason to break the law. But I don't know. I'm like a rule follower.
I don't care. Like I'm trying to make a joke about this, like how I feel like we have at least one whoopsie, at least like with the law.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. Like, really, I would love to be wrong. And I mean, I don't want to go to jail, but like, I would love to be proven wrong. But I feel like the way it's painted out in the public eye, we're white ladies. I mean, I was
going to say, I feel like because you're white, there's a lot you could get away with. But like, I feel like you could probably talk your way out of a DUI, for example.
Yeah,
unless you were really out of your mind, like
maybe. But I do get tickets. Like I've never talked my way out of a ticket in California.
Really? Oh, I have.
I cried and everything, and they still give it to me.
Wow,
but
you've never said you have explosive diarrhea and you have to get home?
No, but I will write that down for next time.
I mean, I got out of a ticket when I first moved to California, and I was talking on my phone because I didn't have Bluetooth in my car yet. And I got pulled over, and the guy was like, do you know why I pulled you over? And I was like, oh. And he goes, because you were talking on your phone. And I was like, okay, well, I just moved here, and I don't know where I'm going, and I'm lost, and like, I needed to make a phone call. And I said, I didn't know the laws. I'm sorry. And he was like, well, just don't let it happen again. And that was cool. So I got off. And then one time I got pulled over in Portland by literally the hottest cop I've ever seen in my entire life. And this guy like walked up next to my car. And I was like, hello, officer. Like, what have I done wrong? Like, I thought it was like a joke. He was so hot. He was like glistening. Like, he looked like a Ken doll. He looked not real. And he was like, well, you were speeding. It was really late and there was nobody on the road. And I was like sober and everything. And I had come from doing like a basketball game or something. And he was like, well, where were you? And I was like, I was at a shoot with Nike. We were shooting. We were on set. And he was like, oh, do you work for Nike? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, so you guys were shooting like a commercial or something? And I was like, yeah. I made it sound like really like LeBron James was there or whatever. And he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna let you go with a warning. Because in Oregon, there's no celebrities. And so if you work at Nike or Adidas or whatever, like that's the closest to like being important that you could be outside of like a couple of people. And so that always worked because cops are always looking for like an employee store pass hookup or like whatever. So
yeah,
depending on where you are, there's different ways to get out of things.
Yeah,
I mean, see, you get out of things, but like you stick it to the man by stealing, literally breaking the law, and I do it by like knowing how to talk about certain things. Like have you been to Home? Okay, so there's like pretty good food on the east side, and we were there. And this actually wasn't a lie, but it worked so well that now I use it as a lie. I'd been on set at work, and I was working in an agency, and there were like 10 of us, and we all wanted to eat. We'd been outside like shooting all day, and we went to get a table, and they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be an hour and a half wait if you don't have a reservation." It was like very like whatever, Los Feliz, so like whatever. And I was like, "Oh, it's okay. We just got off set. So like, we'll just try to find another place." And the girl's like, "Oh, you got off set? We can have a table ready for you in 15 minutes.
God.
And I was like, are you serious?
So LA.
It was so LA, but I've never even thought to use that. And I had no idea it would work on top of everything else. And like, we were also dressed in all black. So we looked like people who had just come off set, and it worked. And
you still use it now?
It does. Like, I mean, I don't go to Nobu and Malibu. I think I've been there twice ever in my whole life, which is more than probably most people. But I'm trying to figure out what lie I can use to get a table there. Like, I want to walk in, no reservation, nothing, and be like, I'm here with so-and-so. Yeah, Tom Cruise. No, maybe not a Scientologist, but like somebody, I don't know, something where it would be ambiguous enough that they would seat us. Like, oh, I just got off set, or I just came from Kim Kardashian. Like something where you could, they couldn't really verify if you were lying or not.
You got to say some like some celebrity in another country or something that they're not sure,
like a Saudi prince. Something like that. I don't know. I just think here that works because everybody's so fake.
I would assume they would be so sick of it. So I'm surprised it does work.
Because if they're wrong, they get in so much trouble. But I think Nobu is it happens so much that I think if you call to make a reservation, I'm almost certain that they like look up your Instagram while you're on the phone with them trying to make a reservation telling you. Have you seen the movie LA Story? You've never seen it? Okay. No. Anybody that lives in LA or has lived in LA needs to watch LA Story. Steve Martin wrote it. Oh, okay. And it's from the like late 80s, I think. And Sarah Jessica Parker's in it. And the first woman that Steve Martin was married to, I forget her name. She's British. She's in it. And the movie is dated in terms of like the technology and like it's not shot in 4K or anything, but it is all the like tropes of LA culture, like shootings on the freeway and like earthquakes at lunch and nobody cares. And there's like a woman at lunch who's just had her nose done. And there's all of that. And so he tries to get a reservation at like the hottest new restaurant to impress Sarah Jessica, or was it Sarah Jessica Parker? One of the women that he's trying to impress. And they like make him go to his bank and they like go through his financials to determine whether or not he'd be able to pay for the meal. And they're like, you can't afford the duck, you'll have the chicken. And like it's very Steve Martin, but it's like one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Like when I get sad about living here, just when like things are not going the way I want, that's what I watch. I'm like, oh, I love LA. Like some people watch La La Land. I watch LA Story.
Oh my God, I can't stand La La Land. But
it's not a good, like, happy movie.
No.
At all.
It's so silly. I mean, I also
sad.
want to rewatch it again to see if I really do hate it, because when I saw it, I was so mad at it.
Same.
But it was years ago.
Yeah. And then I rewatched it and I was like, I don't hate it as much because I think I can relate to it more now.
Yeah.
And I like the music. I do like the music. But it has a sad ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't have, I mean, I'm sure the joke is that it doesn't have a Hollywood ending. But I don't know that I don't know that the people who would watch the movie and relate to it would want that.
Yeah.
I think they would still want a happy ending.
I mean, it's a musical. It should have a happy ending.
I know. And I think that's why, yeah. That really, did you see, you saw Babylon?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Because everybody that I worked with told me not to see it because it's so disgusting and like it's 3 hours of grossness. I was like, okay.
I think you would like it as a comic.
Yeah. I did like the gross.
Funny.
Yeah. Okay. I like the gross part in Triangle of Sadness. Did you watch that?
No.
Oh man, it's pretty good.
Okay. I mean, I don't think Babylon is it's not gross. Like there's one scene that's gross. It's the beginning of the movie that maybe really sends people over the edge.
I saw that part. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then the rest of it is very, like there isn't even, like I saw some interview with Brad Pitt and he was like, oh, there's so much nudity and like you just have to get used to it. And it's like, it's nothing compared to.
Wait. Do we get to see Brad Pitt's junk?
No.
Okay, then.
I know. That's
not that much nudity.
Yeah. There's not that much. And he's great in it. And like Margot Robbie is herself, basically. Like she's kind of the same in every movie. But I liked it. I thought in terms of like celebrating Hollywood film, like culture and through the lens of like this tone, I enjoyed it. I think people that are upset about it are like, okay, what did you like? The Whale or all these like sad depressing movies? Like, I'm so tired of that. I just want fun. Okay,
I'll give it a shot because I am with you. I'm done with the sad movies. As much as I love Brendan Fraser, woof, you know?
I haven't seen that yet. I'm sure it's really good. But again,
it's sad.
If there's no full frontal male nudity, I'm not going.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not. Speaking
Magic Mike.
Is there full frontal male nudity in the new?
No dicks, but he's very
hot. What's her name?
Salma Hayek.
Do you see her tits?
No.
You don't see any. See, this is.
It's all male. It's all shirtless dudes.
But everything is so misleading now. Okay, like it's not. But speaking of male nudity, we're gonna do an ad. Are you guys ready? It's the first time. We're just here. And Room for Rent is supported by and brought to you by MANSCAPED. I don't know if you know that, but that's a new thing that's happening. And MANSCAPED is the best in below-the-waist grooming. MANSCAPED offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. MANSCAPED, it's so funny. MANSCAPED recently launched the ultimate hygiene bundle for the man in your life, the Performance Package, which we have here. I'm going to show you if you're watching. If you're listening, sorry, you'll have to go to the YouTube and check it out. Help him join over 7 million men worldwide who trust MANSCAPED with this exclusive offer for you. So if you put in code Room for Rent on MANSCAPED, you will get 20% off. And if my math is correct, 7 million men have used this, which means it's 14 million balls.
Yeah.
That's 14 million testicles. I'm not good at math.
Times 2, right?
But that was an exciting equation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot. So I don't know. I've used it. I have used it on a man.
Oh, yeah?
I did. Yeah, I used it on a man. And there was no razor burn. It's waterproof. That's pretty cool. I've also, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I did use it on my dog. My dog doesn't have balls, so I didn't manscape, but I did sort of manscape the rest of the area. It works very good on dogs too. I will say my dog is not as well endowed as my man, but it works for all shapes and sizes. And so I recommend it. And my dog is very hairy and my man is very not hairy. So it doesn't matter how much hair you have, guys. Just get the MANSCAPED. The Performance Package 4.0, which is...
it's good for everything.
Yeah, the Performance Package. So you get this, like... I actually really like it. It's easy to hold. I think this one even came charged. You can hear it, maybe? Oh, yeah. Do you hear the little vibration? Mm-hmm. That might turn some of you on.
Makes you want to go home.
Kelly's done with the interview. The Performance Package 4.0, which I've heard is better than the 3.0, Manscaped has arrived. And I'm obviously obsessed. There's all these cool things. Inside, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0, which I just played you the vibration on the microphone here. The Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver ball deodorant, this is the Reviver. So this must be.
What does it smell like?
Crop preserver ball deodorant. Let's smell it. Balls don't smell good, so.
Yeah. So is it supposed to smell like balls or like nicer? Like.
Oh, you know what it smells like? Shaving cream.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
That's what it is. But it smells like it smells like my dad.
So, I mean, that's a good thing.
It does smell good. It's not a bad thing. Sorry, Dad. But I remember that's a very fun memory as a kid of you shaving. So whatever. So you've got this ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs. You even get underwear when you buy this. This is crazy. And a travel bag that holds the goodies, which is cute. It's very manly. And, your lady might even steal it from you.
Are the boxers black or
They are black.
Okay.
They're cute. Yeah, they're nice. I might wear them, because I feel like that's the new thing with women. But so the Lawnmower 4.0 is the trimmer of the future of grooming. And dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. It's good for everything. I might shave my head with this. Ladies, it's so good. I might even get one for myself. It's the 4th generation trimmer. Okay, so it features cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. Ooh, so if you've got really dark crevices near your balls, that sounds great. It also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. Ladies, we don't want, especially if your man is taller than you, the last thing you want is to look up his nose or in his ears. And the Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in his delicate nose holes. I don't have nose hair problems. I'm assuming you don't either, because we're both blonde and not very hairy people. But
sometimes I'll see, but you I don't know. I'll just pluck it.
Yeah.
But that not really.
But guys,
crazy.
Take care of your nose hairs. Okay, there's somebody I could use an example right now that's got really bad ones, but I'm not going to do it because I love him very much, and they're bad. So just take care of it. Women don't want that. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts with the 4.0 package, which is the Manscaped boxers, which you were just asking about, and the travel bag, which I mentioned. And so you can just make him comfortable, shave him, get it nice, pull up his little undies, put everything in the bag, and then, sit on the couch and watch Netflix. It's fine. So it's time to take care of the men you love. So go to manscaped.com, put in code Room for Rent, and have some fun. You get free shipping too. I mean, it's kind of amazing. So that's the deal there with that. It's a really nice package. Everything smells really good. If you haven't tried anything and you don't have a razor at home that you like, give this one a shot.
I heard it's the best waterproof razor, according to
our producer, Armand. Shout out. He really likes it for his balls. So if he's using it, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. Gotta trust Armand.
Yeah. So Room for Rent is the promo code there. We were talking about Brad Pitt's balls, and now I'm sad because I'll probably never get to see him.
Yeah, he's never shown his dick in a movie, huh?
We saw his ass in Troy.
Yeah.
That was a moment.
And
assuming it was his.
Got pretty close in Fight Club. Yeah.
I guess.
And
he was pretty
weird sex dream thing.
But I prefer older Brad Pitt to younger. Fight Club Brad Pitt's a little
I'll take Fight Club Brad Pitt for you. Okay. I like it.
I like Troy Brad Pitt was good. Mr. and Mrs. Smith Brad Pitt is.
I feel like they're all the same Pitt to me, except now he's got a mustache.
He's a little he's a little more built, I think. After he got buff for Troy, he probably took all the steroids and everything they gave him. He got a little more. I don't know. I like a bigger guy.
I like big muscles. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna listen. I'll take what I could get.
You're like, I'm in my 30s. I need a man.
I need a man so I could use the manscaper on him.
That's very important. Have you ever lived with a man that was a boyfriend?
No, I like my old ex-boyfriend though lived alone, and at the time I had a roommate, so I would like hang out at his place more.
So it's kind of like you live together.
Yeah, I would never. I didn't bring any clothes over or anything though, because I was still very thoroughly independent. We almost dated a year, and even then I was like, still, I guess even in my head I'm like, I'm not gonna be with you forever.
So you weren't like feeling it. Ever, all the way.
I mean, he was real good at going down on me and stuff, but like I was like,
that's important. You're so good at going down on me that I'm not going to leave a sweatshirt here.
Yeah, that's all he had going for him though. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just bitter now. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you? Who ended it?
He did.
Oh.
Through like a Facebook message.
No.
Yeah,
How long ago is this?
It was like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
like, Facebook message is never acceptable, but
so annoying.
That's bad.
Also, like, I just got laid off, and one of my coworkers said condolences through TikTok message.
No.
Which I think is way worse.
How old is this person?
She's like our age.
No.
And she has my text. She has my phone number.
Oh my God. People get really weird. I'm sorry you got laid off, but people get really weird when they get laid off, because I've been laid off, and then it's like they don't know what to say, so they just don't say anything. And it's like, nobody died.
Yeah.
It's just you still have a job and I don't. Like, what do you...
Yeah, it's not like... You didn't do anything to me.
No, and I'm not mad at you. I mean, what was funny was like a lot of people, I got laid off with like a group of people, and then a bunch of people quit after that. And I'm like, I told them when they laid me off, I was like, all the people that are still here don't want to be here. Like, you're laying off the people that actually would have stayed. And then they all left. I'm like, so what are you going to do now? Hire freelancers?
Yeah.
Great. Good for you. Awesome.
Did you ever work with any of your roommates?
No. I mean, in college, I had a roommate. So I was the sports editor of the student newspaper.
Fun.
And yeah, it was fun. So I like go to work all day, and then I would go to the newspaper from like 5 o'clock to like midnight or 1 a.m. every night. Like, I was living a comics lifestyle, just doing journalism in college.
Prepping yourself.
And one of the girls that I lived with in college wrote for me. So I was like her boss.
Okay.
But we were friends too. Like, I worked there, and then she was interested in it, and she also got credit for it in school. And then a little bit, you got like $25 an article or something. And so she did all that. And we all had friends that played sports and stuff. So it was like easier for her to interview people and things like that. And so I would do it. And then it was tough because if there was ever a typo or something in her story, which I would edit it, and then it would go to a copy editor, and then it would go to the night editor, and then it would go to like the one adult in charge. And so they're like, if it was missed, it wasn't just my fault.
Yeah.
But she would like yell at me over it, and she'd be like, "You spelled this wrong." And I'm like, "You wrote the article."
Yeah. There's literally a line of people.
And there's a whole bunch of people, and they're all students, and it's the middle of the night, and we're editing things. Like, yeah, there's no excuse. But at the time, I'm like, you're not going to win, the Kennedy honors for this. Like, it's just it's just the Oregon State newspaper. But she would get really mad. So that was tough because I only fired one person. She wasn't the person.
Oh,
but it was, I did the one person. Like, to have to fire somebody who's just doing it for school credit, I was like,
that's hard. Yeah.
This doesn't seem like it feels right. But sorry. No, I haven't worked. I'm trying to think. I've had a bunch of roommates down here, but I've had like, I mean, I lived with my mom when she moved down here.
Oh my God.
We never worked together. Yeah, because I moved down here, and then she moved down here.
Oh, okay.
And then we lived in an apartment in Westwood together. And then we moved to Malibu because she had this dream of like wanting to live in Malibu. Cute. So we lived in like the only apartments in Malibu. And then I moved to Santa Monica because I just got to a point where I was like, I don't think we're supposed to be living together as like adults. And then I lived in Santa Monica with two girls. One was crazy and one was normal. And then I moved back to Portland for a couple years. And then when I came back here, I'm on my 4th roommate in my current. And everybody's been cool. Like the first girl was like a tech CEO. She'd like sold 2 companies by the age of 27, like Forbes 30 under 30. Like cool. Very successful. Yeah. And the second roommate worked for the CDC during COVID. So she was like stressed out because she had taken the job after getting her PhD, but it wasn't supposed to be a COVID job. Yeah. And then COVID like took every job from them. They were like, so you might be working at the CDC, but now you're working on COVID. Sheesh. And so she was doing all that. And she also was not from the US. And so I don't think she loved living over here. Like, I just don't think the culture here was what she wanted. She was like way too down to earth to be in Los Angeles. And like, I don't blame her. And then my last roommate was great, and she worked for like a consumer goods company, like on the corporate side. Oh, cool. And then my new roommate works at an agency. So they've all been like really good, random. 2 of them I found on Facebook Marketplace. 3 of them I found on Facebook Marketplace. And then the one I had the last time, she came from the second one that I had. She'd been roommates with my other roommate's former roommate. So they had all been kind of like friends or like familiar. And so I figured it was like a safe bet.
See, all my roommates that I was lucky with were Craigslist roommates. And then the ones that I was friends with first or like knew kind of first, like I knew of Courtney they turned into be like dirtbags.
Yeah. Yeah. See, funny. I mean, I had Jared, I don't know if you know Jared Campbell, but I had him on the pod that came out recently. And he was saying that you shouldn't live with people who are your friends first. And I think he's probably right. Like, I think it can work. I think it depends on what kind of friendship you have with them when you move in with them. Like, if you're not that close with them and you move in, it could be fine. But if you're like really good friends, then it's probably not going to work.
Yeah, I had she was like my roommate in college, and then she moved out here, and then I was like, I'm moving out here, and then we like eventually lived together, and it was cool, but then she had like a breakdown and moved back to Wisconsin. Oh. And then she came back out again, and then she like, I forget why we fought. We had some fight, and then we stopped being friends. And then that was it. And then this other one.
And you're still not friends?
Yeah, she like blocked me on everything years ago. And I don't know what, I don't know what happened. I think she like went home with a guy and like left me with these other guys. And I was like, well, I was just waiting for you. You could have just texted me. Let me know. Yeah. And when I get mad, I get mad. But then I apologize after. But she was not for it. And so I guess that's what happened. I think she like called her mom on me or something, and I'm like, listen, we're in our 20s. Like, why you gonna
Did her mom then call you?
No, she just like tried to have me talk to her mom it was very weird. I'm like, weird. How old are we? Like,
it sounds like she was maybe going through some maturity issues, like not ready to.
I guess so. Yeah.
You're pretty mature.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But like you have your
like fart jokes.
I mean, I do too. But like you have your life together enough that like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you can survive in LA, it's like if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But like this is not an easy place to live. Yeah. And so I feel like I don't know. I'm always curious. Like I don't know if anybody outside of LA listens to this podcast, but I would always be curious, like things that people want to know about living in LA, because most of the people I have on the pod are
comics, and they
they live here, like they're comics, they live here, they're doing a lot, they work several jobs. Like it's very hard to make ends meet unless you're making a lot of money. And so people who are thinking about like either moving here or doing comedy or like trying to make it in the entertainment business, like I feel like we could offer them,
I would just say,
so much advice.
Don't do it.
No, you don't feel that way.
Move to Denver or something first. Move to a smaller place first. That's what if you want to do like entertainment or
I
comedy.
Disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I feel like I should have went to Denver or something first.
Really?
I would have owned it.
Yeah, I don't know, because I started comedy in Portland.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't have anything to hide, but like I took a couple comedy classes because I knew the structure of a class, because I liked school enough as a kid that I was like, if I take a class, I'll actually learn like what I need to learn. And I needed to learn joke structure because I'd always tell jokes in like a story form.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to figure out how to get like faster laughs.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I learned that, then I was like, okay, now I feel like I can go to open mics. But I didn't like the open mic scene in Portland, which is nothing against the Portland scene. It wasn't for me. And there was a girl, I don't know who it was, but came up to me and was like, you're too mainstream to be doing comedy. And I was like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, you can be weird, you can be normal, you can be cool, you can be into Hello Kitty, like, doesn't matter. And so when she said that to me, I was kind of like, I don't think this is a place for me. Like, I've never felt like Portland was my home. Like, I enjoy the town that I grew up in, and I think it's a nice place to like go home and visit my friends and family. But I never lived in the city, and I never really wanted to. Like, I don't relate to Portland, and so for me, I was like, I like LA. I relate to LA. I like the fact that it's big and fast, and like things are moving. You go other places, things are not. Unless you go to New York, things maybe Chicago are not moving at the pace they're moving here, and like things aren't happening. And so you maybe don't want to show yourself as a bad comic in LA when you're young, but if you're good and you get good and you survive here, like I just think you're that much better, and then you can go.
I just feel like there's so many bad comics that start here, and then you get it's congested.
It's a lot.
That's why I'm like, go somewhere else where it's like Denver. At least you'll get paid too for like shows.
But I do think if you stay true to yourself, if you don't get lost in the mix of like the Hollywood scene or the East LA scene, or like don't try to be somebody you're not. Don't be fake. Don't just try to be funny and try to like
do what you like. Unique. It's hard. It's hard not comparing yourself to others because you will no matter what. But just know that doesn't change, and it doesn't like change anything. You have no power over it. Yeah,
there's a lot to be said for like doing a style of comedy that's not trending and not giving up on it just because it's not trending. Like right now, I'm sure there's people who don't do crowd work.
Yeah.
Who are like, I'm never gonna have a crowd work clip. Like I'm never gonna. So therefore, I'm never gonna get booked where all these other people are getting booked who have mediocre crowd work clips, but I don't even want to put one out. I'm okay at crowd work, but I don't feel that way. But I know there are people that do. And it's like you just have to wait for the trend to pass. Like, because some people just aren't confrontational when they're on stage. I don't blame them. It's probably a safer bet, honestly, to just ignore it. But like your time will come. Like I have to believe at some point all these comics that do the puns and they all do it in their own way. At some point that's going to come around again and they're going to be the ones getting booked, and everybody that's out there telling personal stories like doing open heart surgery on stage is going to be like, well, how come I don't get booked anymore? So it's like if you're going to do comedy forever, you're probably going to be doing it for at least 20 years, and at some point it's going to come around to like you're going to get enough notoriety to be able to craft like who you are the way you want to, unless you just suck.
Yeah.
And then, but that's not you. I don't think that's me.
I don't think that's us.
Could be.
But I think that's people here and they don't know they suck because so many people are too scared to tell them that they suck.
Yeah, but those people are going to quit sooner than people in smaller markets, because people in smaller markets can suck and still get a lot of stage time.
Yeah.
Because there's like more shows. There's not as many comics. So that you just end up getting on shows that you're not supposed to be on. Like, have you ever gone and done comedy like in Portland or somewhere?
Yeah, like Colorado.
They get so excited because like, oh my God, you're from LA. Like, you'll know how to do this, and like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas they don't have to book the local guy for a change for a week, which is
that's true.
Nice. So
did you ever like did your roommates ever get mad that you did comedy or like annoyed about it?
No, I think everybody's thought it was like cool. I think everybody came to a show or two. My last roommate, she's come to a bunch. Like she's come to the show I do at the Comedy Store. That's fun. Yeah, and her boyfriend's also in acting, and so like she gets it. Yeah, like he's not out at night like I am, but she was out a lot or like not home, and our schedules like never got in the way of one another or anything. Cool. And so no, nobody's really disliked it. I mean, it's kind of hard, I think, to dislike like a woman in comedy because we all have our shit together on top of the fact that like we try to be funny and entertaining, and like that should be a plus in a roommate situation. But I don't know.
My old roommate, she was like an assistant to a producer, and one time she like I visited her in Montreal when she was working on, I'm just going to tell it now because she was like, don't say it. That was years ago. It was like The Glass Castle. And I think that's what it's called. Woody Harrelson's movie.
Oh.
But I got to go to Woody Harrelson's birthday party.
Oh, shit.
Which is real cool. And she got mad because whenever they would ask, like, what do you do? I would say, I do stand-up. And she's like, don't. I'm like, what? You want me to lie?
Yeah.
And
why didn't she want you to say that?
I don't know. She was very weird, very protective of her job. She would never help me with anything. Like she
must have thought you weren't good or something, and like didn't. But she would go.
To... I used to run a show, like a bi-weekly show at a bowling alley in Eagle Rock. Real thrilling. But she would go to it. She's very supportive, and she would laugh. I just think maybe because I'm open micer status, not like Sarah Silverman.
Yeah,
but
maybe
still like. I don't know. That's what I still think I am. I'm not getting paid for it really, but it's what I am most of the time.
Yeah.
And anyways, I made him laugh, so I stuck it to her.
Nice. That's a win. Making Woody Harrelson laugh.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a funny guy.
But she would get mad at it, and like he was asking about, he wanted his like daughter to sing or something, and I was like, you should bring her to the Silver Lake Lounge open mic. It's a mixed mic.
Oh my god. And he's like, yeah, I'm good on it. Yeah. It's like when Gary Busey shows up to open mics, and everyone's like, what? Why are you here?
Wait, he shows up?
Gary Busey for a while before the pandemic would show up to the open mics at West Side Comedy Theater.
Oh my god.
I think he would come to the shows sometimes, and he would stay for the mic. Like. There are people who've done comedy for Gary Busey, and like I think it's very odd because he would sit in the front row.
Yeah.
And he's already whacked.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks for being on the pod.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Where can people find you on the web?
You can find me at Holly Weirdo on everything, like Twitter and Instagram. Kelly_McInerney on TikTok.
Okay. Will you spell the first, the Holly Weirdo?
Mm-hmm. Holly Weirdo is just Holly, HOLLY, and then WEIRDO.
And then
Holly
spell...
Kelly McInerney?
Yeah, on TikTok.
Kelly, KELLY_MCINERNEY.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you get it. Well, thanks for being on. You can find us Room for Rent on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube if you want to watch our faces while we talk. And you can find Room for Rent on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Room for Rent Pod. You can also find me on all of the same platforms at Maria Bruggere, MARIA BRUGGERE. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. We love you so much for tuning in. Get on Manscaped, have some fun. Don't get razor burn. That's bad if you do. Just use some like coconut oil, or I think there's a product in there that's supposed to help. So thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye.